Before diving into this incredible story, remember to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Here, every story has something to say, and you won't want to miss a single one. In New York, in the imposing skyscraper of Evergreen Enterprises, Layla Johnson, the CEO's daughter, walked confidently through the company's elegant lobby. Young, bright, and ambitious, she had just finished her studies at Harvard and was preparing to join the family business to learn the intricacies of the corporate world. But that morning, she had no idea that her name and social status wouldn't be enough to protect her from contempt. Marcus White, a security guard with an authoritarian temperament and quick judgment, noticed her at the entrance. Without knowing who she was, he simply dismissed her as a black intruder in a place reserved for the white elite, in his mind. "You cannot go through here, miss," he said curtly, his eyes shining with a mixture of disdain and condescension. Layla, surprised and outraged, calmly replied, "Excuse me? I work here, I am." But Marcus interrupted him, raising his voice and drawing the attention of the other employees. "I told you to back up." At that precise moment, Layla felt humiliation wash over her. The whispers and stares of passers-by weighed heavily on her. Her blood boiled, not only because of the injustice, but also because she knew that her father, William Johnson, the powerful CEO, was completely unaware of what had happened. She stepped back, head held high, but the humiliation took root in her mind. Marcus, convinced he had asserted his authority, let her pass with a satisfied smile, unaware of the storm he had just unleashed. The next day, the story took an unexpected turn. The next morning, Marcus White was patrolling the Evergreen Enterprises lobby again, confident in his authority and still pleased with his victory from the previous day. But he had barely begun his rounds when the receptionist called out to him. "Marcus, the CEO wants to see you in his office immediately." Intrigued but confident, Marcus went there. He was already imagining a compliment for his work ethic. But upon entering, he discovered Layla, sitting behind her father's desk, a calm smile on her lips. "Marcus, I wanted to thank you for your vigilance yesterday," she said in a soft but icy voice. "You were very firm with me." Before he could reply, she pulled out her phone and showed a video from a security camera. It showed Marcus humiliating her, raising his voice, and blocking her path. The video clearly demonstrated his racist and abusive behavior. William Johnson entered at that moment, his eyes falling on Marcus. His expression, usually calm, became stern. "Marcus, I think you had the wrong person yesterday," he said slowly. "That young woman is my daughter and she's going to be joining the company, and you're going to write an apology report to the whole team, as well as to her personally." Marcus paled. The power he thought he had was crumbling. The murmurs of the employees turned into stifled laughter. The lesson was clear: no position, however authoritarian, gives the right to humiliate someone because of their skin color or status. Layla, now standing, looked him straight in the eyes. "I advise you to think before judging someone by their appearance. You never know who's hiding behind a person you despise." Marcus lowered his eyes, aware that his reputation had just been shattered. And this was only the beginning of his public humiliation. After the confrontation with Layla and William Johnson, Marcus thought he could discreetly make amends. But in a company like Evergreen Enterprises, news travels fast. By late morning, several employees had watched the video on their phones, and the matter was on everyone's lips. Marcus now found himself in an awkward situation at every turn. The stares were judgmental, and some employees, who had always respected him, eyed him suspiciously. Every smirk, every whisper behind his back, made him feel the weight of his own arrogance. Layla, for her part, continued her work with calm assurance. She welcomed the curious glances of her colleagues and engaged in conversations, letting her intelligence and charisma shine through. Marcus could no longer ignore the truth. Yesterday, he had tried to humiliate a powerful heiress, and he had just disgraced himself. During a general meeting, William Johnson made a surprising move. He asked Marcus to come forward in front of all the staff to explain his behavior and apologize. The words seemed heavy and humiliating to utter, but Marcus had no choice. "Yesterday, I acted inappropriately and he began, his voice trembling. But before he could finish, William cut him off. You all see what it means to judge someone without knowing their identity or their worth. At Evergreen Enterprises, we value respect and equality. Layla, standing next to her father, calmly added. I hope this experience will serve as a lesson for you, Marcus. Actions have consequences, especially when they are motivated by prejudice. The employees applauded softly, some with satisfied smiles. Marcus felt his face burn with shame. This day wasn't just a personal humiliation, it had exposed his racist behavior to the entire company. As he left the meeting room, he realized he could never look at Layla, or her colleagues, in the same way again. The power and authority he thought he possessed had vanished in an instant, replaced by the weight of his own actions. And as Layla resumed her routine, Marcus understood that this was only the beginning of his true apprenticeship. A few days after the public humiliation, Marcus White was trying to recover from the shame that was eating him up inside. But the pride and arrogance, rooted for years, drove him to seek a quick fix. He reasoned that by trying to sabotage Layla or diminish her authority, he might regain some semblance of respect. One morning, Marcus decided to intercept important documents that Layla was to present at a strategic meeting with investors. Thinking no one would notice, he discreetly stole the digital files from her computer. However, what he didn't know was that Layla had anticipated this possibility. She had backed up all his documents to the company's secure cloud, and every suspicious action on the server left a trace. When she discovered Marcus's manipulation, she remained calm, but her gaze betrayed a simmering anger. During the meeting, while Marcus thought he could discredit Layla, she connected her computer and displayed the undamaged documents in front of all the investors and colleagues. Then, she presented a detailed report of the sabotage attempts, proving that Marcus had tried to manipulate the confidential information. Silence fell in the room. Marcus felt an icy chill run down his spine. William Johnson rose slowly and said in a deep voice, Marcus, your actions are unacceptable. You have not only disrespected my daughter, but you have also attempted to jeopardize the work of our company. Your position is suspended immediately, and an internal investigation will be launched. Layla, impassive but firm, added. Anyone who tries to harm others because of their prejudices must face the consequences. This is a lesson you can no longer ignore. Marcus left the room, stunned. His mistakes could no longer be repaired by mere apologies or empty speeches. The entire company now knew his true nature, and his arrogance, fueled by racism and contempt, had led him to an irremediable downfall. For her part, Layla left the meeting with the respect and admiration of all the employees, reinforcing her authority and credibility. Marcus finally understood that power is not won through force or fear, but through respect and integrity. The weeks that followed were a living hell for Marcus White. Suspended from his duties and under internal investigation, he faced isolation and the silent but oppressive judgment of all the employees. Colleagues who had once respected him now avoided his gaze, and rumors of his racist behavior circulated throughout the company. Layla, for her part, continued her rise with determination. Her competence and intelligence impressed everyone, and she quickly earned the respect not only of employees, but also of the company's investors and partners. Her composure in the face of provocation and her professionalism made her an indispensable role model within Evergreen Enterprises. One day, William Johnson summoned Marcus to his office for the last time. Layla was present, silent but imposing in her posture. Marcus, your suspension period is over, William began firmly. However, after reviewing your actions and attitude, it is clear that your presence in this company can no longer be tolerated. Your contract is terminated. Marcus felt a mixture of anger and shame wash over him. All his attempts to regain respect had crumbled. He understood that contempt and racism had not only destroyed his career, but also his personal credibility. Layla, standing straight beside her father, concluded in a calm but sharp voice. At Evergreen, we value talent, integrity, and respect. Those who try to harm or discriminate against others will find their place elsewhere. I hope this experience will serve as a lesson for you. Marcus left the office, this time for good, leaving behind a ruined career and an irreversibly tarnished reputation. On the other side, Layla was radiant. Her authority was now undisputed, her intelligence recognized, and her position within the company strengthened. What had begun as an attempt at humiliation had transformed into a brilliant demonstration of justice and personal triumph. The lesson was clear: no position of power justifies prejudice, and true strength lies in competence, respect, and the courage to stand up for what is right.